history. You don't have to be a community organizer or do something crazy like run for president. Right here at this school, many of you have already volunteered at local high schools and elementary schools, contributed to the United Way, and even started a program that brings fresh produce to needy families in the area. 164 graduates of this school have joined the Peace Corps since 2001, and I confess a special pride that 2 of you are about to leave for my father's homeland of Kenya to bring alternative sources of energy to impoverished areas. I ask you to seek these opportunities when you leave here because the future of this country, your future, my children's future, depends on it. At a time when our security and our moral standing depends on winning the hearts and minds in the forgotten corners of the world, we need more of you to serve abroad. As president, I intend to grow the Foreign Service, double the Peace Corps over the next few years, and engage young people of other nations in similar programs so that we work side by side to take on the common challenges that confront all of humanity. At a time when our ice caps are melting and our oceans are rising, we need you to help lead a green revolution. We still have time to avoid the catastrophic consequences of climate change if we get serious about investing in renewable sources of energy, and if we get a generation of volunteers to work on renewable energy projects, and if we teach people about conservation and help clean up polluted areas, if we send talented engineers and scientists abroad to help developing countries promote clean energy in a way that's compatible with economic growth. At a time when a child in Boston must compete with children in Beijing and Bangalore, we need an army of you to become teachers and principals in schools that this nation cannot afford to give up on. I will pay our educators what they deserve and give them more support, but I will also ask more of them to be mentors to other teachers and serve in high-need schools and high-need subject areas like math and science. We will need you. At a time when there are children in the city of New Orleans who still spend each night in a lonely trailer, we need more of you to take a weekend or a week off from work and head down south and help rebuild. If you can't get the time, volunteer at the local homeless shelter or soup kitchen in your own communities because there's more than enough work to go around. Find an organization that's fighting poverty or a candidate who promotes policies you believe in, and find a way to help them. We need you. At a time of war, we need you to work for peace. At a time of inequality, we need you to work for opportunity. At a time of so much cynicism and so much doubt, we need you to make us believe again. That's your task, class of 2008. Now understand this, believing that change is possible is not the same as being naive. Go into service with your eyes wide open, for change will not come easily. On the big issues that our nation faces, difficult choices await. We'll have to face some hard truths, and some sacrifice will be required, not only from you individually, but from the nation as a whole. There's no magic bullet to our energy problems, for example, no perfect energy source, so all of us will have to use the energy sources we have more wisely. Deep-rooted poverty will not be reversed overnight. It'll require both money and reform at a time when our federal and state budgets are strapped and when Washington is skeptical that reform is possible. Transforming our education system will require not only bold government action, but a change in attitudes among parents and among students. And it's hard to change attitudes. Bringing an end to the slaughter in Darfur will involve navigating extremely difficult realities on the ground, even for those with the best of intentions. And so, understand that should you take the path of service, should you choose to take up one of these causes as your own, know that you'll experience the occasional frustrations and the occasional failures. Even your successes will be marked by imperfections and unintended consequences. I guarantee you there will be times when friends or family urge you to pursue more sensible endeavors with more tangible rewards. And there will be times where you will be tempted to take such advice. But I hope you'll remember during those times of doubt and frustration that there is nothing naive about your impulse to change the world. Because all it takes is one act of service, one blow against injustice, to send forth what Robert Kennedy called that tiny ripple of hope. That's what changes the world. That one act. An act by you, class of 2008. You know, Ted Kennedy often tells a story about the 5th anniversary celebration of the Peace Corps. He was there, and he asked one of the young Americans why he had chosen to volunteer. And the man replied, "Because it was the first time someone asked me to do something for my country. It was the first time someone asked me to do something for my country." Now, I don't know how many of you have been asked that question, but after today, you have no excuses. I am asking you, and if I should have the honor of serving this nation as president, I will be asking again and again in the coming years. Because we may disagree as Americans on certain issues and positions, but I believe that we can be unified in service to a greater good. I intend to make it a cause of my presidency, and I believe that with all my heart, this generation is ready and eager and up to the challenge. We will face our share of cynics and doubters, but we always have. I can still remember a conversation I had with an older man all those years ago, right before I was headed for my new job in Chicago. He said, "Barack, I'll give you a bit of advice. Forget about this community organizing business and do something that's going to make you some money. You can change the world and people won't appreciate you trying. But you've got a nice voice, so you should think about going into television broadcasting. I'm telling you, you have a future there." Now, I've wondered, he might have been right about that TV thing, but he was wrong about everything else. For that old man has not seen what I've seen. He has not seen the faces of ordinary people the first time they clear a vacant lot or build a new playground or force an unresponsive leader to provide services to a community that's been neglected. He's not seen the face of a child brightened because of an inspiring teacher or an inspiring mentor. He's not seen the scores of young people educate their parents on issues like Darfur or mobilize the conscience of a nation around the challenges of climate change. He's not seen the lines of men and women that wrap around schools and churches that stretch out block after block after block just so they could make their voices heard, many for the first time. And that old man who didn't believe the world could change, who didn't think one person could make a difference, well, he certainly didn't know much about the life of Joseph Kennedy's youngest son. It's rare in this country of ours that a person exists who has touched the lives of nearly every single American without many of us even realizing it. And yet, because of Ted Kennedy, millions of children can see a doctor when they get sick. Mothers and fathers can leave work to spend time with their newborns. Working Americans are paid higher wages and compensated